Welcome back to Living Your Life. We're so glad to have you join us today. We have a great show planned. We got a great show planned for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Today's episode will certainly challenge our advocacy energy to the max as we hear from the executive director of the Virginia Sickle Cell Network. She is dedicated advocate driven by personal experience as a mother of six, two of whom were diagnosed with sickle cell disease at birth. She has embarked on a journey to improve their lives as well as the lives of those affected by this condition. Khristina's advocacy extends through various roles, including leading the Virginia Sickle Cell Network, serving as an ambassador with Sick Cells, and co-chairing the Patient Family Advisory Council at Children's Medical Group. She is also a member of the Sickle Cell Advisory Board at Fulcrum Therapeutics, among other engagements. Khristina became a certified community health worker through the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America and later earned certification as a medical advocate with Dr. Simone Owen. Leveraging these qualifications, she's developed impactful programs and initiatives in pursuit of the vision, treasuring those living with sickle cell until it's cured. That is so important to me. Living your life, please give a warm and cozy holiday welcome to Khristina Reid and her two daughters. And I'm talking about Olivia and Morgan Terror. How y'all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank y'all so much. You know what? We got to tell people, too. I got to tell them. I already know y'all, and I've already seen what y'all do. How long ago was I there?
That was last year, last October, 2020.
Last October.
Yep.
I was there doing a blood drive for you. And you know what? And we know how important blood is for us, and so just to see you guys doing that, I'm telling you, y'all are doing some great work. And I'm just telling you, I'm so glad to have y'all. How y'all doing? First of all,
doing well.
Don't be scared, it's just me.
Yeah, they've been doing very, very good. We're very grateful that their health has just been pretty good right now. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I know, and that's important because, I, and y'all have y'all own. This is so great when I see young people do this. Y'all have your own foundation, have your own organization. Tell me about that right now. Just tell me, just so everybody can know.
Hey, so Morgan and I have Twotarriergirls Care. Through that, we like to especially focus on young people with sickle cell in our community, just because we feel that community is so important for people with sickle cells, because it can be so isolating sometimes. So through that, we like to reach out to people and make sure that people feel valued, especially knowing that with this disease, lots of people can feel like they're not like they're less than.
Yeah, I know. I know. I've had that. I've felt that way. I know. And so it's just so good to see how empowering you guys are as such young advocates for this disease that we all three of us have. And it's so great to see that because I'm inspired just by what you're doing. The fact that you're able to even do that at such a do y'all know what I was doing at y'all age? just playing. I didn't even know anybody had my disease. That's how I know. That's so crazy because we are so far and few between. We don't get to meet each other. We don't get to talk about it. Everybody else can talk about everything, but we never really get to talk about what this is that we live with every single day and how we have to overcome and fight like y'all do because y'all are truly the definition of sickle cell warriors. And then you got a mother like Miss Khristina. You got a mother like this too. She's in this fight with you guys too. So let's just get into it. So we're gonna move right into revving up our advocacy juices. Okay, take us on the sickle cell advocacy journey. Okay, tell us how you do that, Miss Khristina. What is your responsibilities?
So initially, my responsibility was Olivia and Morgan Terra. Being a first time mom and having a child with a diagnosis. Started off with Olivia. Like she was saying, it was very isolating because this is at the very beginning of social media, Facebook and Instagram wasn't even around. But all I knew was T-Boz had sickle cell. And I had a friend, I grew up in Liberia, West Africa, and I had a friend, a classmate of mine who also had sickle cell. So I was very limited in information and I was extremely desperate to know other people, to hear the stories of other parents who, tell me the success stories, if if that exists, so that I could have some hope for my girls. So that's where it started. I had to know everything that I could about their health, about optimizing their health for the future, and then I had to find out who else lived with sickle cell, who else raised children with sickle cell, or a loved one, a husband, or a girlfriend. I just needed to hear the stories. So that's how it all began, and then they became involved, and their hope was, hey, what can we do to help other people? Because we started off in Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and it was a long day. You go in for your comprehensive care, your comprehensive appointments, and you're there all day long. So they thought, well, what if we start giving book bags with activities for other children to do while they're in the hospital, or at appointments? And that's how they started initially. Yeah. So they just, I'm also inspired by them, you know.
Yeah, because it is true. It's probably because this is the one of the very few times I really talked to a mother who has two children with this same disease, and so you have to think about it. You spend twice as much time down at a hospital than I did because of these two. And they see that's what people understand. This is why we working so hard to understand that, hey, that Miss Reid exists, and these people, these two young ladies right here, they exist. They have a story to tell. And how did you two young ladies feel? Like, were y'all ever in the hospital at the same time?
Um, we were sometimes when we were younger. So,
Yeah.
We never really were at the hospital at the same time, but sometimes it was like back to back. I'd get sick, then Morgan would get sick, and it was long periods of time. But thankfully, we were never really at the hospital at the same time.
Just like the comprehensive care together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and then how do you even do that as a mother? You have to balance both of these at the same time. Like, that's what's the amazing story about you. Not only are you just advocating for sickle cell, but your own two children have it, and you have to balance that. How do you even make that happen? What does the day look like for you when one's down and you can see one going down, and you got to pick one up, and you got to make sure this one stays up? Like, has that always been like that since they've been here?
Yeah, well, fortunately, I'll say the last 5 years have been drastically different, and by that I mean drastically better. Better. Um, Morgan, I'm sorry, had a lot of issues with her spleen. She has SC. Both of them have SC genotype, like you, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, a common cold, Morgan would be in the hospital with splenic sequestration and end up needing a blood transfusion. And Olivia would be at home and in school, and just trying to not think of her sister being sick. And sometimes the stress and even fear could be triggering for her. So for me, and kind of the way that I am as a parent is pushing through to until they're better and out of need for emergency room or the need for hospitalization, and pushing through until that's done, and then after that, maybe some breakdown, but but fortunately, I have a good support system. My husband is very supportive, and then family helps a lot. But one major thing that has changed is this network that we have with Virginia Sickle Cell Network, the SCN, and we've been able to connect with moms. I've been able to connect with moms who we can just talk about everything, every fear, every level of guilt. Because you mentioned I had two children with sickle cell, and when you think about the probability, a 25% chance, you don't, it's a small chance when you're in the process, but then after you have the children and they do receive that diagnosis, there's a lot of guilt that I felt. And so it's good to be able to engage with other moms, other caregivers, and them engaging with other people, who live similar to them and have the same fears. Oh no, it's cold season. Stay away. You know what I mean? So that has been what gets me through.
Yeah, and I'm gonna ask you two young ladies, this is something that like what do y'all do that y'all really enjoy doing, even in spite of having sickle cell? Like what do y'all like to do?
Well, I enjoy dancing and singing like that.
Dancing and singing,
Yeah.
even with sickle cell. Look at that.
Oh yeah, she's determined. You also tell them about the like she's also very creative. Your bath bombs.
Oh yeah, I create bath bombs and give them to families with sickle cell.
You create. Wait a minute. You create like the thing you drop in the tub,
Huh?
like the thing that and then it fills us up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you make those too?
Yeah, I do.
With
My friend, that is amazing. Like I didn't even know about doing that. Can I have one?
How?
Yes, of
No,
course.
not how. You sell them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, you sell these? Oh, you entrepreneur too?
Yes.
Okay, friend. What are you doing? What are you doing?
For me,
Yes.
well, I spend a lot of my time doing film. I go to a magnet art school for film, and right now I'm actually in the process of doing a documentary about sickle cell and the stigmas with it.
That is so amazing. You really want to tell this story on a major level. Like you really want actually to let people see what this actually looks like and why this is important. I think that is the most amazing. Like people think that we can't do things.
Yeah.
And y'all are actually proving no, we sing, we make bath bombs, and we do film too.
Yeah. So this film, the local hospital here, they're going to share it. The documentary that Olivia is doing, they're going to share it across the hospital, the hospital.
Network.
Yeah. So they're going to share it around, and I just think I'm so excited. I can't wait for it to be done. And actually, maybe we can invite you to like an opening or when we screen the film.
Oh, y'all need some star power. Okay. Oh, I got you. I know it. I see what you're asking me for. No, I would love to do it. I promise you I would love to do it. Because, and this is what I'm curious of, Miss Khristina, because in the rare of the in the realm of the caregiving dynamics,
Yeah.
just tell the people what conditions you have to meet as just being a caregiver, because it's two of them.
Yeah. It's two of them, and I feel like this was a purpose, because it's not just the two of my children. I also am in this position, and with the purpose of being able to help other parents who are in positions similar to mine. So I don't spend too much time feeling sorry for me. I feel badly for them, but I don't spend too much time putting a lot of thought into what I'm going through. I do intentionally take care of myself, but my purpose is, hey, I've been in this situation. Let me talk to you. You're going through this. Let's talk. Let's connect. Right now is a pretty difficult time for a couple of moms whose children are going through some things. So I've been blessed to be a blessing. Is what I'm just trying to say. I look at this as a blessing. This is what I have. This is what I've been called to do in order to help other people who are in similar situations. So that's where I am with that.
Yeah, because I think about your role, and people understand that you are advocating
Yeah.
when they mistreat you. Like you really have to deal with. Yes, you're advocating on behalf, and you understand as a mother with two children with sickle cell, because how difficult is that when you dealing with the hospital, and you see that one of these children that you're advocating for. And I know you ain't gonna let it happen to yours, so you ain't gonna let it happen to nobody else either. But you can't get the medication, you can't get anything. They're trying you. How difficult has that been in Virginia?
Oh wow! So there's two parts. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar. Pediatric care is nice and it's lovely. Now there are some times where, fortunately for me, my doctor, their hematologist when they were young, Dr. Peter Lane. One day Morgan was sick and she was new. She was a new baby, and she was sick. And he says, "Well, how do you think she's doing?" And I'm thinking to myself, I share this story often. I think to myself, why are you asking me? You're the doctor. I'm like desperate. Please help me. What am I doing? What's going on? And he says, well, how do you think she's doing? I'm saying, you tell me. He told me, he said, you know her. You are their best advocate. So that lit the fire for me to learn what I can. So in turn, I'm fortunate that I have learned as much as I can in order to be able to say, hey, well, let's not do this, or, to be able to use my voice bravely, because sometimes it can be intimidating. Some doctors will flat out ask you, so what's your education background or what's your history background? Because they want to know, how are you giving me advice when you're not the doctor? But I'm a parent and you know what I mean? Yeah. So that in turn allows me to advocate for adult care, because we don't have a strong adult care system for hematologists, sickle cell at all in this area. So fortunately, I've connected with a couple of people. Iris Lundy is she is the health director. What am I missing? She's the health. Anyway, so she works a lot with.
The word you look for is the coordinator.
No, what is
No.
VP of Health Advocacy.
Yes.
Patient Advocacy.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
I got you.
I can look it up. But anyway, so she works at Centera Hospital, and she is pushing. She is pushing so much to get health equity. She's the VP and Director of Health Equity at Centera Hospital, and she's like, oh, we're gonna get care for adults. We're not leaving the Hampton Roads area and traveling to Richmond 2 hours away for care anymore. So that's where we are, and we're trying our best.
You know what? Let me ask the girls this, because y'all are so young and y'all are doing so much. What are some of the challenges that you face just being young sickle cell warriors? How do y'all feel?
Well, I think the main challenge is definitely being in school and having a chronic illness, because we do miss a lot of days, and we do, fortunately, because we've had this our whole lives, have been able to develop a system in which we can get things done quicker. But because the fact that sickle cell is an invisible illness and you can't see it, a lot of times teachers won't believe that you are going through something, that you are going through medical issues. So I've had many teachers that don't accept my work or believe that I'm just skipping or being, just
yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the biggest challenge, I'd say, to having sickle cell right now. Yes.
Yeah. How do you feel, friend?
And I relate to that as well, because like sometimes it's a little hard to catch up on work when you're like sick in the hospital. So like
Yeah, I know that, because when I was, and it's so crazy because it didn't change for me either. Like, that's why we're so great at what we do. That's why y'all are so wonderful at what you do. Can you imagine that they don't even understand? We're dealing with a sickle cell crisis, and I'm laid up in the hospital, and I'm doing schoolwork too.
Yeah.
Haven't y'all? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That we have to do that, and then we got to go turn it in. So then when we come back to school, we can be on the same page as all the other students, and they don't even understand how we had to really we could have almost died, and we still do the work too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of our whole existence, is that the fact that this reason why we are so great at what we do is because we can take on a lot.
Yeah.
and we can still do the same things that everybody else do. Like, have they ever tried to tell you young ladies that something you could not do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. I've had, you know, in their younger years, I've had teachers not put them in the classes that they rightfully deserve to be in. I've had, you know, another thing that they didn't touch on is friendship, because sometimes, you know, even your friends as you get older, if you don't have a healthy friend base, as you get older, they don't believe you, or they say mean and hurtful things sometimes, and you have to develop either thick skin, or you have to develop the ability to tell people how you feel, and you know, and
Yeah.
try to
Oh,
take.
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, please go ahead.
But yeah, with that friendship thing, it's also that you're one step forward and three steps back, because during school things are going on without you. So when you come back, you're out of the loop, especially when you don't have a solid friend base. And sometimes they don't care to catch you in. So it can be more isolating to be the one that's never there.
Uh, you don't have to tell me. I mean, it's the fact that we go there and we're there, and we can't understand how people doesn't understand what we're going through, but they're kids. And it's like for me, like one of the most embarrassing things that happened to me was having to take an ambulance out of my school and everybody see you.
Oh wow.
you know and I had just came out the hospital, and then I come back to school for 2 days, and the sickle cell crisis hit me again. And now the teachers didn't believe me. They're all fake, like, you just got back.
Mm.
you know and those are the things that we have to deal with. And I have to ask you, young ladies, Olivia and Morgan, how are y'all doing with your mental health? How does that feel?
Well, I feel like I'm doing pretty well with my mental health. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's difficult, because I have to ask you this, because I have to know, because which one of us three has not battled depression? They think we don't do that. Nobody. I know I've felt it. I know I had to deal with it. I know I've had to go through it, and you so alone in the process. And so when you have a mother like yours, she's not advocating just for your health; she's advocating for your mental health as well. Because Mom, have you ever seen, like, when you take them in there and, like, dealing with the emergency room? Have y'all had that happen?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
Yeah. Like, so because they're still in pediatric care, the system is a little different. But when you talk about mental health, there's anxiety that's created once you experience pain. Once you experience any level of pain as a human, there's anxiety that you're going to feel that same level of pain again. So we think about that aspect, but then you also think about um, the fear that's surrounded by the stories that we hear about when they transition. Olivia's about to be 18 and head off to college. So the thought of, man, transitioning, the stories I've heard when you talk about the emergency
Oh,
room, that
oh.
that creates another level of fear and anxiety and depression as well when you think about living with this disorder. So
No, I've been there. I've had to transition. My mother was worried too, because now you're going off to school. Now, now you're not even gonna be here. And so all of those things are valid and important. But you know what I love about this, Ms. Reid? What I love about this is the success they have anyway.
yeah, yeah,
That's the part I just loved about this and this whole interview, is that the success y'all have now. Anyway, I can't even imagine what y'all gonna do in the next 10 years. I mean, you got a documentary coming out, you singing, y'all making money. I wasn't doing none of this as a kid.
you were playing football though, right?
Yes, I was playing football, but I wasn't thinking about helping. I ain't know nobody else. But what y'all are doing is so great. So before we get out of here, I just want to ask you, young ladies, if there's any inspiration you want to leave with somebody dealing with sickle cell, what would you guys tell them?
I would say that use the doubt that other people have for you because of your sickle cell as your own motivation to prove them wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. That's a good one, friend.
I would tell them to stay strong and that they'll get over it.
I, I love all of it. My, what do you want to say as the mother of another mother who's dealing with this and may not have the words to express themselves, who may not have been down the path that you've been down?
Yeah. The first thing I'd say is find a community. Find your community because it is difficult to do alone. Connecting with other people who have been through what you're going through. I get sometimes moms email me and say, can your daughters talk to my little girl? Or it's nice to see teenagers who are living well and doing film and doing dance and that gives me that inspires me because of my children. So I just say get that community because you cannot do this alone. Learn everything you can about sickle cell so that you can help your loved ones.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Well, I think y'all are doing fantastic, and I want to thank y'all for coming on here. And I'm telling you, y'all are two strong warriors. I'm talking about Olivia Morgan. Y'all really are. And mother, you keep doing the same thing, friend. And I'm so glad. I've always, when I saw you on your day, and I knew I had worked with you before, but I'm so glad that you still keeping it going, and the fight is still happening. What are y'all doing in Virginia now? What's the next events? Y'all got events coming up? What are y'all doing?
So what we do have something that's exciting. We partnered with Centera, and we're creating hospital ready bags for parents because that was our thing. We were driving in the city, and then I touched Morgan's skin, and she's at very high temperature, 105, and we had to go in and be admitted. So we didn't have anything ready for us. So we want to get our families ready for when they have to be in the hospital. But another thing that happens is, and it's not just pediatric care, but another thing that happens is whomever is with you, they don't have the money to maybe eat while your loved one is in the hospital. So what they started doing was, you want to say?
Yeah, so we went to CHKD and we got gift cards so that the families could eat while they're in the hospital.
Yeah, because it's like a 30% discount if you're with someone who's admitted. There was one time I did not have the money to pay for me to eat while this is when I was a single mom while she was getting a procedure done. So we want to make sure that whomever is with you, pediatric adult care, you can eat while you're in the hospital. And in addition to that, you can have comfort items with you while you're there, so that the stress is just alleviated this much more. So that's what we're doing right now. We also have you're going to talk about the support groups.
Oh yes, so we have our support groups. Those are with teens. Morgan and I connect with the teens, and then we have guest healthcare workers, and my mom that creates like caregiver education for adults in our area.
Yeah. So that's monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And that information's on both of our social media pages.
Give out your handles. Give everybody know where they can find you.
So we're at Virginia Sickle Cell Network on Instagram, Facebook, and they're at
Twotarriergirls Care on Instagram.
See?
Yeah.
And y'all do care. And I want to say thank y'all for coming. I've enjoyed having you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause. I can't believe this. Come on, Olivia Morgan, Miss Khristina Reid. Thank you for coming on Living Your Life, because y'all are truly living your life.
Yes. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh,
what you're doing.
Oh, I have to.
Yeah.
I'm not doing enough. Y'all got documentaries and y'all singing and dancing, making bath balls. I'm not doing enough. Thank y'all so much, and God keep you. And thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you.